Alright, what's up everybody? Jusky here, and I have a new video now for you. So far we did an arcane build, we did a frost build. Now, as you can see, I'm trying to do a lightning build. Now, I have a few items here that aid me in this build, but this is not by any means a final build. I was actually a little bit hesitant to make a lightning build right away because I didn't have all the items that I wanted. Some of the new legendary items that really aid in a lightning build here I don't really have yet, but I did find a Stormcrow, one of the new Stormcrows. So once I found that, I was like, you know what, maybe I could try a lightning build and see what happens, and maybe we can get somewhere with it. So my damage is a bit lower than it is with my arcane build. Fully buffed in my arcane wizard build, I think I have like something like 210k DPS. So this is a bit lower. It's a significant decrease. I only have 180k now, and that's fully buffed. But I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a shot on Master anyway, and we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, let me go over my gear really quick, and then I'll go over my skills quickly, and we'll take it into action and see how it does. So first off, as I mentioned, I found this Stormcrow the other day. This is the new Loot 2.0 Stormcrow. Mine rolled with 15% more lightning damage for lightning skills, or 15% more damage, excuse me, for lightning skills. So that right off the bat is an aid to our build here. 521 int, which is a really high intelligence roll, I think, for a level 60, which is good. 489 life per hit. Crits grant 10 arcane power, which is really good because I didn't have that on the old Mempo that I was using for my arcane build, so we get even more arcane power now on crit. And the 24% chance to cast a fiery ball when attacking. So I don't know why a wizard hat that increases lightning skills would proc a fireball, but you know, what can we say? So that's the new Stormcrow that I have, and as you can see, I have it equipped now, and I actually dyed it black with black dye, so it's just pretty cool. Matter of fact, I can show it to you better this way. I now have a black Stormcrow so that it matches all my other my gear here. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool that we can dye legendaries now. Anyway, I've said that before, and I'll probably continue to say it because I love it so much. But yes, there's the Stormcrow. Also is this amulet that I found. This was one of the first days that I started playing the PTR. It was one of the first legendaries I found. This amulet, the Dovu Energy Trap, the proc on it increases the duration of stun effects by 50%. Now, I'm curious as to if this will affect the passive paralysis, which I'm sure it does. Hopefully it produces a nice synergy here. But what it does is basically anytime I stun an enemy, it'll increase the duration that enemy is stunned by 50%. And when we get to my skills, I'll show you that I have paralysis equipped, which is hopefully going to provide a nice synergy here. Okay, the rest of my gear is the same. So it's the Zuni chest. These are all legacy items that are on the live server right now, not 2.0 items. The Tasker and Theo gloves, the Zuni chest, Lacuni Prowers, Witching Hour belt, Blackthorn's pants, the Litany ring, Zuni ring, Chance, Force, and Will, and the Zuni trail boots. So basically, basic stuff there. I went over that gear in one of my old videos, I think in the Arcane Wizard video. So. Okay, so the only two new things are the Stormcrow and the Dovu Energy Trap. Now, onto the skills. As you can see here, I picked Electrocute Arc Lightning, which blasts a cone of lightning that deals 310 weapon damage. I did this because it's kind of like the same mentality I had with the Spectral Blades. I like to be up close in the enemy's face and do AoE damage. So this way I'll actually do some AoE damage close, kind of like in melee range, and while I do that, I have the lightning version of Meteor that I'm going to be casting down, similar to how I have done it with the Arcane and the Frost builds. So this is going to be the Lightning Meteor, the Lightning variant on Meteor, and this is an interesting skill, I guess you could say, the proc that this has on it. It says if the initial impact causes a critical hit, so if I crit with this meteor, which my crit chance is high enough, I should be doing that quite often, the electrified meteor duration is increased to 8 seconds, and enemies are rooted for 5 seconds. So that's really, really good. Just for a rune on a skill, I mean, that sounds like something that could be on a legendary item with Loot 2.0, but that's pretty good. So I'm going to give this a shot and see how it works out. Lightning Bind. Teleport Wormhole's the same. Let me skip Hydra for a second because that's different, but I want to go over the stuff that's the same. Magic Weapon I kept from my old build, from my Arcane build, but I changed the rune on it. So instead of using Force Weapon, which would give me a little bit more DPS, I want to change it to Electrify, just to go along the theme with this build. But also, it says attacks have a chance to cause lightning to arc to 3 nearby enemies, dealing 61% weapon damage as lightning. And this is, I want this because of the way that paralysis is going to synergize with this. So I will, once again, I will get to that in just a minute here. We'll go to Lightning Hydra. So I'm trying Hydra. At first I kept slow time on that skill slot, but I figured, you know what, slow time is more like an arcane thing anyway. It synergizes with this, with temporal flux, how arcane damage would slow enemies and everything. So I said, let me change out slow time and see if I can get something that's a little bit more lightning themed. And I decided to go with Lightning Hydra. Now, it's just very basic. Summons a Lightning Hydra that electrocutes enemies for 138 weapon damage as lightning. But the as lightning part, obviously, the Lightning Hydra, is where my question comes. Once again, with how it synergizes or how it will not synergize with paralysis. So let me just talk about Storm Armor here, and then I'll get into the passives, and I'll mention what I've been alluding to this whole time with the paralysis passive. Storm Armor. Obviously, the obvious choice for the armor spell for this. But then the rune, I decided to go back to Shocking Aspect, which is one of the staple runes for the old Critical Mass Shock NATO Shards build. I think it's still, for utility purposes, the best rune for Storm Armor that we have right now. The other variants are Scramble, which would increase my movement speed, which I don't want to do here because if I was playing a kiting build, then maybe I would want that. But like I said, with the Electrocute rune I have, I'm going to be in the enemy's face, so I'm not going to be kiting that much. So Scramble isn't going to really be useful for me. Thunderstorm, I debated over. I thought maybe just having more damage, more DPS, increasing it to 194% over the base of 147% could really be noticeable, and I might actually go back to that at some point in this build if Shocking Aspect isn't working as well for me as I hope it will. But that was something I debated over, so that's a potential. I could go back to that. Power of the Storm just reduces the arcane power, which would help me with spamming Meteor more often, but I think I have enough arcane power on crit, especially with the Storm Crow that I just equipped. I have 10 more than I even had with my arcane build, so I don't think I'm going to be hurting for arcane power regeneration. So I don't think I need this. And then finally, the last one, Reactive Armor. Ranged and melee attackers are shocked for 189% weapon damage as lightning. That could be good too, but I think I want to stick with Shocking Aspect because of, finally, I'll get to it, paralysis here. Now this is interesting. It says lightning spells have a 15% chance to stun all targets for 1.5 seconds. Now this specifically says lightning spells. So, will the lightning effects from other spells proc this, or is it only from a spell like, for instance, Electrocute Arc Lightning, my primary spell, or Meteor? That's the lightning variant, so I'm sure Meteor will count as a lightning spell here. Will Hydra proc it? Because if Hydra procs it, that's another source of a potential stun that, aside from my own attacks, I have a secondary attack automatically from the Hydra that could stun the enemy. So I'm hoping that Hydra does proc paralysis. Also, Electrify on Magic Weapon. This is the reason why I went with Electrify over Force Weapon, because with Electrify it says attacks have a chance to cause lightning to arc to 3 nearby enemies. That arced lightning that will hit potentially 3 nearby enemies every time almost every time I attack could be affected by paralysis, which means I'll get an additional 3 enemies that I'm not even targeting, or that may not even be in my AoE range, that could potentially be stunned by paralysis. So that's why I want to really stick to this, try to do as much lightning damage as I can to as many enemies as I can with the runes that I've chosen. That way paralysis can really come into its full potential here. I hope. That's what my hope is here. So that's the thing. And then also with Shocking Aspect, for my Storm Armor, critical hits have a chance to electrocute a nearby enemy. Well, that electrocution to a nearby enemy, is that going to be considered a lightning spell? Because if so, that's another source for paralysis to proc off of. So I'm hoping that this really synergizes well here, and we'll find out in just a few moments. Finally, the last two spells, the last two passives are the same. Dominance, because it's just so good right now at level 60. I don't know how good it'll be at level 70 when I'm killing enemies slower, but Dominance is just a must-have right now for me. And then Unstable Anomaly, again, it's debatable. A lot of people will tell me not to use Unstable Anomaly, that I can get so much more utility out of this passive slot. But I like the second chance effect. Even though I'm not playing hardcore, I just like not dying. So I'm going to keep Unstable Anomaly for now, but that's, could be changed in the future. Alright, so that's the build in a nutshell. I'm hoping that with the Stormcrow that I found and this... Oh! One more thing, the amulet, the increased duration of stun effects by 50%. So if this synergizes with paralysis, not only will I be stunning enemies with the passive paralysis all the time, with hopefully all these lightning spells I have going on, every time they are stunned, they'll remain stunned for 50% longer. So that's why I have this amulet on. Hopefully it will provide a nice combo effect and a nice synergy. So let's see. Without further ado, let us go to... I'm going to go to the Fields of Misery, pretty populated area, and we'll test out the build. See how it works. I just have to remember to cast Hydra before I go into a group of enemies. So let's see if this stuns. First, let's just wait and see if it's stunning. My Enchantress froze. That's what that is. I want to see if Hydra does stun enemies from... And I'll see if my Storm Armor does as well. From paralysis here. It's good. What's good is the enemies killed from Hydra actually do proc my dominance, my shield. So I don't have to necessarily be directly killing the enemies for them to give me my dominance shield. I don't think they're becoming stunned. It doesn't seem like it anyway. I'm not seeing any stun. Alright, here's an elite pack. Let's see how well this build performs in an elite pack. Wow, guess what? That went pretty well, I would say. Okay. That elite pack went down pretty quickly. Check it out. Huh. Alright. Not too bad, not too shabby there. Like I said, I just have to keep remembering to cast Hydra because I'm not used to having Hydra on my bar here. Meteor is good, but it's not like Spectral Blade. See, Electrocute in the cone here, this is a channeled spell, so I have to hold the button down. And if I start right-clicking Meteor, it takes an attack turn, you see? And it's actually stopping my electrocution from being channeled. With Spectral Blades, I was able to constantly alternate between left and right mouse button, and I was able to constantly kind of keep them both going at once. So I have to be a little bit more, I have to use my Meteor a bit more sparingly, I think, than I would if I was in the Arcane build. Which is fine, it's just a bit more of a slower pace that I'm not entirely used to as of yet. But I'll get used to it. I think so far, though, the build is really performing well. And the increased damage from Stormcrow, I'm sure, is really helping out a lot here. The thing is, am I paralyzing enemies? I'm not really seeing them stunned. Unless I'm just blind and I don't see it. I'm not seeing any enemies becoming stunned here. Let me check with these guys here. Let me zoom in, maybe it'll... Oh yeah, there you go! Yep, they're stunned, see it? And I think that was actually from the Hydra, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yep, look! He's stunned from my Hydra. It's either from my Hydra or it's from my Storm Armor. Let me take Storm Armor off and see if Hydra stuns them. Yes! Hydra does stun. Take a look at it. Nice! So I'm definitely keeping Hydra in then because that's an additional stun effect. And that also, hopefully with my amulet, is keeping them stunned even longer. So, it's not a bad helmet if it rolled intelligence. Yeah, so let's see now if my Storm Armor will proc the stun. Is anyone getting stunned here besides just frozen? I can't tell. Yes, there we go. He was stunned. So even Storm Armor will proc the stun effect as well. Wow, so I have a lot of potential for stun here. From my Storm Armor, my Electrocute, my Meteor, my Lightning Hydra. Wow. That's a lot, yeah. So this is a pretty good, and with the amulet that I have, wow, that was a lot of gold. With the amulet that I have, it's really increasing that effect. So, I didn't think this build was going to perform this well. Alright, I want to try it on another elite pack again, and we'll also try it on a boss. So, I'm going to have to change acts, I think, because I don't have any bosses that are spawnable right now in the quest that I chose. I'm going to try to find another elite pack quickly. Yeah, it's just a matter of casting the meteor on a much more slower pace here. But that's fine, like I said, it's not a big deal. It's still a big damage burst, like it was in the arcane build. And I might actually run with this build for a while. I was assuming that I was... Oh, House of Curious. I was assuming that I was going to run right back to my arcane build. But it looks like this is not too bad. It's not too shabby, if you ask me. And I really like the melee AoE aspect of it, because I can easily change my primary skill for another variant on Electrocute, another rune for Electrocute. I can make it be more of a kiting build or a ranged build. You know, there are plenty of things I can do for this, but I really enjoy keeping the damage up close. You know, I've always been more of the melee, you know, the melee pioneer for wizards, and I really enjoy that. What's that? Guardian's Aversion. Oh, wow. New Guardian set, Guardian's Jeopardy. It doesn't really have... I guess if you had those pants that changed your life per second into that death aura that hits enemies, that set bonus would be pretty nice. But as it is now, it's kind of just basic. Look at the effect on it though. Lightning skill is still 15% more damage. That would be nice for me to have right now if that was an intelligence roll for this build. Yeah, I'm really happy that both Hydra and Storm Armor can proc the stun from paralysis. That's really cool. Alright, I'm trying to find like the Key Warden or some elite pack or something that I can test this out again. I'm not really finding anyone right. Oh, here we go. This will spawn an elite. Okay. Wow, look at that. The damage is really good. Yeah, the damage is really good. I'm impressed. I have to say, Oh, and you know what? I forgot. I just looked down at the skill bar and I saw I have Magic Weapon. The proc from Magic Weapon that causes lightning to arc to 3 other enemies. I'm assuming that since everything else works, because I didn't really test that out, but since everything else works, it's probably the case that that also procs paralysis. I don't see why it wouldn't. So, I mean, if Lightning Hydra does it and, you know, my Storm Armor does it, I'm sure that the Magic Weapon effect will do it also. Yeah, the damage is really nice on this build. And it's a little bit AoE as well. It's not just single target, which is nice. I like that. I gotta find the Key Warden. Where is he? Oh. I think I'm gonna run with this a bit. I really enjoy this build. Alright, here's an event.
What could have killed this beast?
This is where that elite spawns here, yeah. Alright, so give me another chance to kill another elite pack. Or a unique monster anyway. Not so much an elite pack. There he is. Burrow Bile. Just spam him with meteors. So as you can see, I'm getting a lot of crits here. My arcane power does not regenerate nearly as fast as it did on the arcane build, but it's still very good.
This is your wife. She appears well.
Alright. I'm still trying to find the Key Warden. Interesting that I haven't found him yet. I did a lot of the Fields of Misery so far. He still has yet to show up. Okay. He's probably down here, further south. This video is a bit on the longer side, but that's okay. We did a lot of testing and explanation and things like that, so hopefully you guys don't mind. But yeah, that's pretty cool. There he is. I know I keep saying it, but I'm just like really impressed by it. That's all. I'm impressed that we have an elite pack here and the Key Warden. Alright, well let's see how the build holds up with an elite pack and the Key Warden. Looks like fairly well. It might have been a bit faster with the arcane build, but it's not terribly inefficient. There we go, he was frozen. And he's down. And I get no key. Okay. A lot of rares though, that's good. Yeah man, so this is cool. I'm liking this build a lot. I guess I said I wanted to go fight a boss, but who would I go fight? Maybe I'll go test it on Asmodan. Yeah, let's go to Asmo. Check it out on him. Okay. So yeah, we're just gonna go test this on Asmodan, see how it works, and that'll be it for the lightning build. But I think I am gonna, after I'm done with this video, after I am done with this video, I am going to stick with it, I think. I even like the way the Stormcrow looks now that it matches everything else. So I'm not even going to use Vanishing Die on that. That's really cool. Alright, let's check Asmodan out really quick. I gotta just run through the core of Ariat. So that shouldn't be too long. But yeah, this is a nice build for Master. I'm under 200k DPS with this build, like I said, but I'm really not noticing much of a difference because I think it's mostly in part due to the 15% extra damage on the Stormcrow. So I'm glad I actually found that. That ended up being a really good piece for this build. I don't know, without that, I don't know if it would be as effective. Yeah, you see how quickly I am actually regenerating arcane power pretty quick. I said it wasn't as fast as the arcane, but it's not bad. It's pretty decent.
Need more time.
Be nice if Asmodan dropped us a legendary, huh? That would be cool. Yep, you saw he was stunned there for quite a bit of time. Oh, here's a goblin too. We can test it out on a goblin. Alright, now with my arcane build I was able to stun the goblin, or not stun him, I was able to slow him. But no, no problem. I was going to say now he's pretty quick, but he wasn't able to get away, so that's good. Oh, look at that, they're stunned. Nice. Oh, there's another stun. There's another stun. The stun actually happens quite often. I'm really enjoying that. Look at that. Another stun. I think those succubi were pretty much perma-stunned that entire fight. That was really cool. Alright. Lightning Wizard for the win. Seriously. Performs much better than I had originally expected. Alright, let's check it out on Asmodan. Let's get the Hydra, some Meteor. Oh, look, he's stunned. And he's stunned again. And he's stunned again. Nice. Wow. Look how often he's stunned here. Look at that. Yeah. This is working really, really well. You saw how often he was stunned. He wasn't able to do anything. Wow. Very, very nice that was. Oh, I'm all filled up? Okay. Well, what are they? No, that's crap anyway, and so is that. Okay, cool. So yeah, very nice, very nice. That's the lightning build. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any recommendations or comments or anything like that for me, criticisms, or anything about this new build that I just discovered, then please leave it in the comments. I encourage you guys to please help me out as much as you can, whatever you think would help me out or benefit me more with the build. And or anything at all Diablo related, please leave in the comments, and I look forward to reading all the comments that you guys make. So thank you so much for watching. If you persisted in with this whole time, I don't even know how long the video was, but thank you. I know it was a little bit longer than the others, and I appreciate the views and I appreciate everything. So if you're not subscribed to me here on YouTube, be sure to subscribe if you want to stay in touch with all the new Diablo, PTR, and everything else news related as far as Reaper of Souls is concerned. And I will talk to you guys soon. So take care. Thanks a lot.